Artie and I are reading from John 10, beginning verse 22. At that time, the festival of the dedication took place in Jerusalem. It was winter, and Jesus was walking in the temple in the portico of Solomon. So the Jews gathered around him and said to him, "How long will you keep us in suspense? If you are the Messiah, tell us plainly." Jesus answered,
I have told you, and you do not believe me. The works that I do in my Father's name testify to me, but you do not believe, because you do not belong to my sheep. My sheep hear my voice. I know them, and they follow me. I give them eternal life, and they will never perish. No one will snatch them out of my hand. What my Father has given me is greater than all else. No one can snatch it out of the Father's hand. The Father and I are one.
So what struck me about this when first looking at it, I looked at the whole chapter 10, is all about Jesus being the good shepherd, and makes these same points again and again. It's basically, my sheep hear my voice. I know my sheep, they know me. But the thing that really struck me in this particular passage is this idea that they're trying to get a straight answer from Jesus about whether or not he is the Son of God. And he's like, look, you see what I'm doing. You know, it's my works, it's what I do. And it reminds me of what I always told our girls when they were little, because they're very fond of saying, even today, I know, when you tell them something. And so I always say, it doesn't matter what you know, it matters what you do. And here we have Jesus saying, look, don't worry about getting a statement from me. Just look at my works, look at what I do.
No, I greatly agree with that, Susy. And what resonated with me is that they were saying, "How long will you keep us in suspense?" And Jesus was replying, "I'm not keeping you in suspense. My sheep hear my voice. So if you know me, you know I'm not keeping you in suspense." And he said, "I know you know me, and I know them." So that was really resonated with me. Like, we are a tribe, and we protect one another. Also, what I thought resonated with me is that can give you something that no one else can give you, and that's its eternal life. And that's really important. And if you have, and no one can take that away from you. So, I felt like he said, "Join me if you're willing. The road is not necessarily smooth, but if you follow me, I'll give you eternal life." So that really, really resonated with me.
And you were also making the point before about that Jesus is saying, I've told you and you do not believe, because you do not belong to my sheep, but my sheep hear my voice and I know them and they follow me. And you were making the point that that's because Jesus is speaking a truth. And in these days, we have so much misinformation, and it's hard to know which voice to listen to. Right. Who is it that we should be paying attention to? And you were making the point before about, Jesus is the one we can listen to. He's the one we can follow. He's the one whose voice we can trust.
Correct.
So Artie had also suggested, a couple of songs, piece of music that came to mind for this. And one is the version of "The Lord is My Shepherd" from the Vicar of Dibley, which I had never heard before until it was the one piece of music that was requested for Bob Sylvester's funeral. And very beautiful piece, and now whenever I hear it, I love it, not only because it's beautiful, but because it reminds me of Bob. And then the other piece, in keeping with this theme that Artie was talking about knowing which voice to listen to, was the classic "Listen, God is Calling," the Tanzanian piece that we sing often. And we found on YouTube,
several versions,
we listened to like 20 of them, but one of the ones that we liked had these 5 men from a Lutheran church in Northern Virginia, and it was one recorded during the pandemic, and just kind of sweet, because you got to appreciate people finding ways to make music and reach out to each other and listen to each other on Zoom.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we just leave you with "Listen, God is Calling."